All right, guys, let's kick this call off. We are welcoming Chris to the call. Super stoked to have you, man. I remember you and I having coaching calls from day one when you started in the Rental Property Pro program, and super excited to have you on the call and hear about all your successes and everything that you've been doing and all the new experiences that you've been having, good, bad, and indifferent. So, Chris, kick us off, man. Fill us in on what you do for a living and what kind of brought you into the sphere of real estate, if you don't mind.
Sure. So, name's Chris Jensen, mechanical engineer. I work for the Naval Nuclear Laboratory. One of those engineers that have always looked at the future and said, "Hey, if I keep going on the same path I'm going to retire when I'm 60 years old." And so my hope and dream is I move that number up to the left and not to the right. I hope to retire 50, 40. I'm turning 32 here soon, and I hope to bring that faster. I started with RPP back in December, started going through all the coaching, all the programs, going through all the classes, the training. And after I've done all that, I started hitting it hard on the market come January. I worked through different vendors with RPP of, hey, we got these turnkey properties, we've got these different contacts, start working with them. And so I really started digging down deep and start analyzing each of the properties. As an engineer, it's all about the numbers for me, and the numbers have to make sense.
Yep.
And so where I started off, where RPP's got a person they used to work with, not so much these days. I can get into that a little later, but they're called Mid South, and they presented a property to me, and all the previous properties they were going like that, and
Hmm.
so I was in a hurry to get one, and I got a duplex. It was a turnkey. It's been a great investment. Still at times still struggling to get the rents up and having issues with Mid South. Nothing wrong with the properties, but issues with property management. So that'll be one of the first lessons I'll talk about is having the right property management. But I was trained from this training group that BRRRR method is the way to do it. I mean, not saying turnkey's not good, not saying wholesaling's not good, not flipping's not bad,
Yep.
but the BRRRR is the way to do it if you want to really scale and grow. And if I really want to retire sooner than 60, the BRRRR method is the way to go. And so I started looking at the exact same time as I was closing on my duplex. Realtor, as you guys know, Marcus Bolus. He sends out lots of properties every week, lots of deals, and one of his deals was a flip near Germantown. It's in Memphis, Tennessee, but near Germantown. And the numbers were big. He was quoting about 75,000 profit after all said and done. And so I decided there's two ways to attack this. I can pay lots of money for my turnkey, and I can do a flip at the exact same time, and they will even each other out. And that's what I've been
Perfect.
doing. I bought the duplex, and 5 days later, I bought a house. And I went to town from day one. And so I'll get into my journey. So my journey has been
Yeah.
this. The duplex has been great. I've had tenants in from day one. The rent's been coming in. There's been some hiccups of getting all the rent lined up, getting paid, switching over ownership. That's just part of owning properties. Whether you own a house, you own a rental, there's always a pain of setting up with the city or setting up insurance. It takes time. So my advice on that is one, get used to it. It it takes a
I
lot of
like that.
work.
I like that. It's not easy, but it can be done, you know?
It can be done, and got to be persistent and
Yep.
lots of calling, and don't get frustrated over the little things. Keep your eye on the big goal, the main picture, why we're here. So I bought the flip, and I used one of Marcus's contractors. Lesson there. It's better if your contractor you can communicate well. He spoke a little bit of English, probably not the best of English,
Okay.
and we had some issues. Some great. Don't get me wrong. He's done a fantastic job on my flip, but he was so quick and so fast that things were done before I even had a good input into the system. I mean, I bought my flip on a Thursday, and by Tuesday he was asking for $10,000, and I'm just like, whoa, whoa, whoa! What work have you done? What have you accomplished in that time? And then I start seeing the before and after pictures. You're like, oh, you have done a lot of work.
He did do a lot of work. That's great. That's good.
Yeah,
Usually they start asking for 10 grand before they've done anything. So
I
that's
know
awesome.
exactly. That was my biggest worry. I'm like, what the crap have you done to deserve ten
Yeah,
thousand? And they had transformed that house in a matter of days, and
that's great.
so I felt like everything was going smooth in that way, where the work was progressing super fast. I was constantly every day talking to my realtor and the contractor. We had a great text group going on of like, hey, we want this, keep moving forward with this. Every day it was progressing. And even my hard money lender, they're just like, you're moving real quick, real fast. Everything is going great. This is a great thing for you. And I'm like,
They
this
love you.
is. We got all the way to, so rest of March went through, all of April was great. We got to May and it started to pour. It rained almost every single day. And we went from screaming super fast to no work was really done out today. Because what I
Screeching
really,
halt.
screeching halt. They just had to paint the house, stain the fence, do the landscape, and I had a whole month of nothing was really happening.
Yep.
They even tried to stain the fence. It started to pour. The stain turned out crap. They had to redo it. And so here's the second lesson: don't start counting your eggs before they hatch, because man, I started really dreaming big of I had always planned it would take 6 months. I'm like, March, hopefully I sell it by September. No,
Yeah.
today is August 22nd. I still hope for September. But yeah, it got really worrisome because all of a sudden nothing was happening. It wasn't going really well on the outside. And I'm like, crap, we're having some issues now.
Yeah.
And and then as they were still finishing up a few things in the house, and there was little things like, hey, the contractor finished the kitchen today. And it was like, what do you mean he finished the kitchen? A week ago or 4 days ago, we talked about what we want that kitchen to look like. We haven't finished all the details, and you're telling me he's done now.
Yeah.
Like,
He's done.
yeah, good and bad, good and bad. If it sells, I don't care. If it doesn't
Yeah.
sell, I would have done a few things differently. I would have as if you're not following Tim, you got to make sure you have the 12-step program of construction down really good, because I screwed up. I'll admit it all day that I life is going good and I was not controlling my contractor like I should have been.
Yeah.
All of a
Yeah.
sudden, the kitchen is like, ooh, that's not the backsplash I wanted on the tile.
Hmm.
I did not exactly want it to look like that. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. It
Yeah.
looks good. But I would have done a few things different. This house is a $500,000 flip, and
Yep.
it could have been better. So that's a lesson in itself of have extreme control over your contractor, really try to control those numbers. There was a couple of few things of they messed up and they're like, "Oh, you need to pay me to fix this." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. You
Yep.
messed up. You fix it." So there's a lot of negotiating, and so start out right with your contractor. Make sure it's clear. Set the expectations. It'll go over a lot more smooth. So there's that. John, I'll pause. You can ask me a few more questions. I am long-winded, so I'm really good at talking.
You're good, man. Well, for all the engineers listening, we don't have to have paralysis by analysis. It can be done. You guys can jump
Yeah.
in and take action. You proof to that. Two houses inside of 5 days, which is awesome. And it sounds like it was kind of a catch 22 with your contractor, right? He was doing an amazing job, like getting work done, but probably wasn't listening very well. And there was a communication barrier, obviously. How did everything wind up, like in terms of budgets and all that? Like, did you guys stay on top of that for the most part?
Sure. So that's where part of the started off on the wrong foot from the very beginning. The original quote I got from my contractor, he just gave me a number. I said, "Hey, go in here. I need you to fix everything. Like, go in,
Hmm.
determine everything." And his original number started at 48,000.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Wow, this is great.
That's cheap.
This is
Yeah.
cheap." And when Tim even analyzed it, he's like, I see about 53, maybe 54. I'm like, okay. And so when we went to the hard money lender, we even took that budget to 60,000, thinking, oh, we're going to be good.
Yeah. Just in
Well,
case. Yeah.
the first thing that happened was, oh, he only told me for everything on the inside of the house. He didn't quote me for
Not the
anything on the
exterior.
outside. Yeah, and I didn't this again, this is where the issue became. I hadn't seen his scope of work. My Marcus was kind of being really my GC in between, and
Yeah.
he got the in between, and I didn't have that control. I didn't see
Hmm.
it. And Marcus is like, oh yeah, he didn't have those things. So I've just added the budget and we're at 60,000. That's what we're going to go for. And I wish I had priced it out better with him
Yep.
because well, we ended up spending a lot more money. So
Really?
my final numbers was 78,000 for the rehab.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So it was a big rehab, and
Yeah.
it's a good learning lesson, right? You're obviously, from the sounds of it, still going to be profitable at the same time. Like, you got to sit down, regardless of if you have a general contractor in place or you're working directly with subs. Is hey, let's lay out what that scope of work looks like, and everybody signs it, right? We're all on the same page, so that we agree on price and we agree on what is actually getting done on the property. So good learning lesson at the same time. You're still being profitable, right? I know we were
Oh
talking
yeah.
before the call. Where
Yeah.
do you think you're going to wind up if you sell by the end of September, I think, or something like that?
Yeah, so right now we've considered doing some other options, but if I was to have a seller today say, I'm going to buy, we close by the end of September, I would still get 60,000, over 60,000, but let's call it 60,000 profit before
Nice.
taxes. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the goal is 15,000, so it's still a
Oh,
good, it's
yeah.
still a
You're
good
winning.
thing. Yeah,
That's
but
awesome, man.
the numbers, like I said, and here's the reason why the numbers even went up more. It wasn't like it went completely out of control.
Yeah.
We decided to make some decisions of, hey, that driveway, we need to resurface it or we need to rip it
Yeah.
out. Like we decided if it's a $500,000 house, we didn't plan for originally, but we need to do it now. In order to do
Yeah.
those things, we want to make sure it sells at that price point. And
Yeah.
it was a calculated risk. Engineers hear that it's a calculated risk of
Yep.
what I originally thought was planning to sell at 500. I have it listed at 550 right now. Hopefully it sells for that. It might go lower, we'll see. But if I could sell it for that $50,000 more, that 30,000 more I paid in rehab, it's all worth it. And that's the
100%.
difference.
Yeah,
So,
it's ROI, right?
yeah,
Return on investment. You've put a little bit of extra money in, but in turn, you're getting a $50,000 more, sales price, hopefully, at the end of the
yeah,
day. That's awesome, man.
exactly.
And back to the duplex, right? It's rented, creating cash flow for you, really
Yep.
solid deal. Not that I like hearing this, you're struggling with the management team, but this is something that I bring up with a lot of students out of the gate is, everyone's like, oh, I'll wait till I have 5 or 10 or 15 properties before I go and find a management team. And I'm always like, hey, we want to figure out if a management team is good or not with one property instead of
Yeah.
10, right? Because if you get to
Yep.
10 and then you hand them off to a management team, now you have 10 problems to deal with instead of one, right? So, it's probably been what, 6 months or so with this
Yep.
management team. Yeah. So still experiencing some hiccups with them at this point. My suggestion or recommendation say, hey, let's move on to someone else, which I can provide you a few different referrals that I use in Memphis as well too, man. So I would say it's probably about that time if you're still not happy with them.
Yeah, and this is where, not to get into all the details, but I
Hmm.
mean, Mid South has got a pretty good deal for what they charge you when it comes to
Yeah, it's 0% or something
it's
like
zero
that for the first
percent,
year or whatever. Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
that's the real kicker of if I move to a different property management company, whether I'm paying 8, 9, or 10%. It's hard to beat zero.
It is so hard.
And that so some of their hiccups have been they submitted the wrong paperwork to the Memphis Housing Authority.
Mm,
And if you don't know already, working for a housing authority, trying to work with them is a mess. I I've been on lots of calls. It's slowly coming together, but Mid South messed up. They sent in the wrong paperwork.
yeah,
I don't know if they even sent it the first time. I finally had to just step in and just go, I'm taking a hold of this. I'm going to just take care of this. And so
yep,
it's not all Mid South, but I've struggled to get rent payments from them, and that's a little frustrating. Even though they'll eventually have paid me, they haven't paid me on the schedule they said they would, and they're like, "Well, you're not in our system yet," and
yeah,
whatever. It doesn't matter. There's just issues, and again, you own it. You own the property. You got
yep,
to stick to them and say, "You owe me money, and you need to pay it now." You need to fix this now. This is your job. And that's
yeah,
where it has gone hard. And yeah, there's different things like that. I mean, I'll give you one other example. My flip, the utility company, they kept saying I have a $600 water bill. And I'm like, "Oh, this is garbage. I know that's not true." And
yep. Not true.
they're like, "You must have a leak or something." I'm like, "If you actually go read my meter, then I will actually know if I have a leak." They kept estimating my bill.
Yeah, exactly.
I finally had them go out. They read it. They're like, "Oh, we owe you lots of money." I'm like, "Yes, yes, you do."
And I appreciate that because, it comes down to taking responsibility, right? You're just like, with your day-to-day job, you have a lot of responsibility and you need to control projects and you need to make sure there's deadlines and timelines. And, when something happened, you can't blame somebody else, right? The same thing
No,
goes with your investments, right? You have to own, you bought this and you have to own the good and the bad, and if you own it, you're going to be able to reap the benefits long term. So I love that mindset and that attitude. Um, Now, we have a duplex, we got a fix and flip we're working on selling. What's next? What's next on the docket for you? What's your goals towards the end of this year and going into 2026?
sure. So, like I said, in the worst case, if I was to call done today, which I am 100% not,
Yeah.
I would be back to where I started before I even joined this program. But what I've been doing in the meantime is I am still going hard after deals. I have gone after
Yes.
tons of deals, and I've got the business credit. I wish I had more business credit. I got the wrong time. It was a little crazy with Trump and all of his tariffs ideas. Anyways,
Scared all the banks from
scared all
lending.
the
Yeah.
banks. Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't give me as much business credit as they thought they would have been able to get, but
Yep.
I've still pushed hard. I've made it so I've had myself on several deals. And here's a couple of lessons learned. So
Please.
you find a great deal, the numbers check out good, the pictures look great, your coaches are all giving you the thumbs up. Don't think you got it solid until you get a contractor over there. I've
Yep.
sent a contractor over there. I thought I was about ready to say I thought I almost fired him the day I hired him. It was because he wouldn't even walk into the property. I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is the best deal I've seen in a very long time." And he's like, "Yeah, that particular property is great, but all the surrounding areas, so granted, I went on Google Maps, I went up and down the street.
Yeah.
This was in a complex. It was a townhouse. It was in a complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
John's
Oh,
on
I
his
remember
head.
that.
He
He
knows
wouldn't
what
get
I'm
out of
talking about.
Yeah, he wouldn't get out of his truck. That's right.
He wouldn't even get out of his truck, and it was because the rest of the townhomes in that area, they looked like they were literally about to fall over. There
Yeah.
was gang activity you couldn't see from Google Maps. I live in Idaho. I can't see Tennessee.
Yeah,
Take it for what
exactly.
it's worth. And my contractor, he's like, "Nope, you don't want it. I don't care how good the deal is. You don't want it."
Yep.
And you got to trust your team. And that goes back to building your team, having the right team, the
Exactly.
right contractors, and has saved me tons of money. If you don't know, call your coaches, call John, call
Yep.
Tim, call Jen, call Ricardo, whatever, or Rob, whoever you need to call before you make a decision because I've been on plenty of calls I found the right deal the night before. I was ready to put an offer in. A quick call to Rob or John or Tim, whoever it may be. Holy crap, I'm running as fast as I can out of there. And it's changed it all. And then at the same time, I found some great deals. They didn't work out. We went
Yep.
hard. My realtor went after it hard, and you get outpriced. Like, don't
Yep.
get frustrated. Don't get upset because you just keep trying and you put in multiple bids a week. That's what happens. I wish I could say I was doing lots of bids each week. Unfortunately, I'm a mechanical engineer. I've got 3 kids. I run another
You're
business
busy.
outside of this. I got a bunch of church things I do too. I'm a busy man, and this is one of
But
many.
that's awesome to hear, right? So like, 3 kids, another business, full-time job, responsibilities at the church, but you've still been able to put together 2 really awesome deals, a full fix and flip, which in Memphis, for those of you who do listen, like $550,000 is like one of the nicest houses in the nicest neighborhoods, right? So a luxury flip in Memphis and then a duplex. So, you're still able to put that together. And at the end of the day, you know what it takes to get more deals, and it's more offers, right? But you're not upset at that because you have other responsibilities as well too, and you get done what ultimately you can get done, which is awesome, man. And a goal moving forward, is that to just focus on rental properties? Do you still want to do the fix and flip? What's the focus?
Sure. So my long-term goal is more fix and flip, or sorry, not fix and flips, burrs. I want to do a lot more
Okay,
burrs. And
nice.
in my mind, everybody needs to set a number. If you want to retire, this is where the all engineers or whatever you want to say, everybody needs to have a plan here. In order for you to hit your goal, you need to have a plan in place. My goal this year is to have 3 doors. I'm calling them doors because I own a duplex,
Yep,
but I want 3 doors or honestly
nice.
4 doors by the end of this year. That number's morphing a little bit. Maybe just one more duplex if I can squeeze it in before the end of the year. And then
That's great.
every single year, it's how many doors or how many properties do you want? Because what's that number you're working for? Because if there's no goal, there's nothing going to push you to keep pushing hard. Like I said, some
Yep.
people could get to me and they're like, "Oh, you tried this program, you now own a duplex, you did a flip, yeah, nothing's out of your pocket today. You're great." And it's like,
Yep.
no, that's not the point. The point
That's not the
is,
goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I will do probably another flip or two if it makes sense.
Yep.
Uh, there's a lot of stress of waiting. That's the name of the game. My
Yep.
wife starts looking at me as if I might be crazy. You can see I'm using her phone today. My wife's named Nicole, and she goes from you're in June and you're like you look like you're brilliant. Now it's almost the end of August, and you start looking like you're a little crazy for doing this.
It'll all work out, man. I mean, at the end of the
It
day,
will.
you're gonna cash a check one way or the other, and it's gonna be pretty awesome to walk away with, not only a duplex but money in your account, and then the ability to go and just do more properties, which is great. Do you have that number you talked about? That goal. Like, is there a cash flow number every month? Is there a door number? What's that number look like for you?
Sure. So I try to be realistic, and I try to. I'll work my way up to that number. I'll answer your question, but
Yeah.
my number is 3 numbers. The
Okay.
first number is it's to replace my take home pay.
Love
That's a
that.
nice number,
Okay.
but it's nice, but it still doesn't cover insurance. It still doesn't cover extra
Yeah.
stuff. It's a nice number that you just feel good inside yourself that if you got fired today or crap hit that fan, you're like, I'll be okay. No
Yep.
worries. The second number for me is my gross pay. In theory, that gross pay also then covers health insurance and other
Yep.
things. You would feel even better. My
Like that.
true my true number for me is about 20,000 a month. So
Beautiful.
how do I get there? That's the real
Hmm.
question. And what timeline? Now, I try to be realistic. You try to say how fast can I go there? How quickly can I go there? And for me, I look at it this way. If I get 4 properties this year,
Hmm.
Next year, I'm going to go for two, at least two. I'm not going to say only two, at least two. If I can run faster, great. At least two the first year, two the second year. Third year, three properties. Fourth year, four properties. Fifth year, five properties.
I like that.
Uh, Maxing out to about seven or eight properties. My little girl's going into second grade this year. I would like to be at 20,000 a month by the time she graduates. That gives me 11 years.
Nice. Yeah.
So come up with something realistic. I'm
Yep.
not saying you can't do 20 properties in 1 year. People can do it. I
Yep.
call them John. But time, it's what do you have time
Stop.
for?
Yeah.
If you
And what? Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
I was just going to say you cannot expect to do 20 properties if you're juggling so many other things if this is not your full-time job.
Yeah.
You can definitely get there. It's be realistic and push as hard as you can. And what? You surprise yourself and you can do it in 5 years?
Yep.
That's how you do it. That's my
Uh,
model. I'm also an engineer. I'm very conservative.
Yeah, and you got to lay it out, right? And one thing that you learn and everybody's got to learn as you go down this path is it gets easier, right?
Yeah,
This real estate is a front-loaded system, right? Creating the relationships, whether it's with agents or contractors or wholesalers, and these offers start to stack up over time. And what winds up happening is you're making all the offers to get one property or two property or three properties a year, right? But all those offers that you made the year before, the month before, or the quarter before, right? One or two of them actually start to come to fruition, right?
exactly.
Because an old like accepted contract fell out, and then they accept yours, right? So, you're doing all the things to get your two, but you wind up with three or four because of past offers that you've made, or other people in the marketplace know you're a buyer and they bring you a sweetheart deal. So, once you're in this for like a year or two, then at that point in time, you get to reap the benefits of not doing anything, but still getting deals, right? Or
Exactly.
working off your past hard work. So you'll start to see that as you continue through this process, which is great. And will you have any plans once this property sells, right? So are we gonna celebrate? You guys going for a long weekend, right? Was there a celebration in store?
So I've done a lot of celebrating. I love to travel on points already. So I've
You
already
and me
gone
both,
from
man. You and me both.
yeah, I've been to Hawaii, Florida, California, all in the last 8 months. So I love to travel. I'm probably going to dial back for me, yes, there'll be some type of celebration, but all the money I'm going to get, I'm going to, like I said, bring back myself back to where I was before I even started this program.
Yep,
And then the rest of the money, whatever that money dollar amount is, it's going right back into the business.
love that.
And a lot of people want to start collecting that paycheck from day one. In my mind, you gotta enjoy the journey.
Yep,
But you gotta focus on the business to get it growing so it can take off by itself. Because if there's no money sitting in the bank, it makes it a little harder to do deals. Not
yep,
not harder. You just feel a little more risky personally. Like
yeah,
if it's all on your HELOC, it's all on business credit, and something goes askew, where's your fallback?
yeah,
And I like having a little bit of fallback, and that's why I said I've still gone after deals. I mean, Marcus posted a deal the other day that one of the other group members caught a couple hours before me, and I'm like, if they fall out, I'm in. Let me know.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so
you just got to get after it. And you got to always keep making offers, right? Because
yeah,
even if you feel like you might not be in a position to get one, remember, just because you make an offer certainly doesn't mean that offer is going to get accepted, right?
no,
So, just keep writing those offers. And from the standpoint of like, obviously this was your first big foray into real estate investing, right? If you could go back and give your former self like some advice to get off the fence or get into it sooner, what would that advice be? Like, what would you say to anyone who's kind of like just starting out and trying to make a decision on whether to get into investing or not?
make offers. I think
Yep.
that's where I've probably struggled the most of
Okay.
just
I love
so
that.
and just because I run the numbers like crazy on so many different deals, and I'm like, oh, it's got to drop by like 30,000 in order for this number to even make sense. and so then I've walked away of not even making that offer because it takes too much time, it's too much
Yep.
effort. And as I have started like making those offers, I'm like, oh, this is actually easy. I just need to be making more offers. If I
Yep.
run the deal, as John says, put an offer in. It doesn't matter what
Yep.
it is. And you hear it, just do it. And I think that's the
Yep.
hardest part of the initial hurdle of doing it for John and Tim and whoever's been in it a long time. You're like, oh, that's cake. I think that's
Yep.
where some people find, at least myself, found that to be a hurdle. Not that I'm afraid to talk to people. It just I counted it out before even giving it a try because I'm like, oh, I would never accept something that was 40,000 less than
Yep.
my asking price. And the listing price was 70,000. Why would they go for 30,000, half the
Yep.
price? And that you just gotta get over that, and that's what I still do today is um that, and then just building the right team, and
I love
multiple
that.
team members, lenders. I've talked to so many hard money lenders, private money lenders, and then just talking to mortgage brokers. I mean, I think there was one time I think my wife thought I'd never existed because every single day I had a call with somebody new I've never met, and my wife's like,
Yep.
"Who the heck are you talking about? You've talked about 10 different people in the last week," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm still getting to know a lot more people every day, and
Yeah, but that makes a difference, right? The
oh
more
yeah,
people you can have in your back pocket, especially like wholesalers and agents and, local people to the market you're investing in. I mean, when that deal does come, you're not freaking out, right? You're like, oh, I
oh
already
yeah,
have my lender, I already have my, inspector, I have a
yep,
couple contractors I've talked to. So it just makes the process way easier, right? If you're not making an offer, just pick up the phone and get to know somebody, right? And just have that 5 or 10 minute conversation. That'll make all the difference in the world when you do have that property under contract.
oh yeah, and don't be afraid to ask people, like random people, their own opinion. For example, I had somebody go look at a property, and I had to cut down a tree, and he was giving me a quote, and he goes from, hey, this looks like a nice place here. He's like, this is probably the worst neighbor I have ever come into, and I think I'll be using my chainsaw to defend myself. And I'm like, huh. If the person cutting down the tree is feeling that way, might be an okay place. Don't take it for granted. Don't
Yeah,
take it
yeah,
for word, but something to consider. Make sure you have
yeah.
different resources, different eyes. Don't only rely on your realtor. Don't only rely on your contractor. I mean, when I was buying my flip, I called 4 different real estate agents and I said, "How much would you sell this house for?"
I love that.
Yeah. And people are willing to give you their opinion. If they don't, just move on. Don't get upset.
I love it, man. And it's one of the last questions I have for you here. In terms of like, the coaches and rental property pro, what do you think has been like the most significant thing inside of the program that's really helped support you getting to this point or having success?
One on one coaches.
One-on-one coaches, yeah.
If you, I've been on coaches with all the coaches now. And it's amazing just how much better you feel after a quick conversation of like, hey, I've been looking at this property. Let's quickly run through the numbers. Yeah, let's look at
Yep.
the ARV on different areas. And I've had a few times where my filter's been set a little bit wrong, and
Yeah.
I wasn't pulling the numbers right, and it went from a great deal to a terrible deal,
Yeah.
or I estimate too high on the rehab projects. And Tim's like, "Ah, you could do this less." John can say you could do this less. And that gives you the confidence of, okay, if it's 10,000 less, this now just fit into my buy box. This for
Yep.
me, my ideal goal is paying less than 10,000 out of my pocket. That's the goal. And cash flow 200 to 350 after you take out 5% for vacancy, 5% for maintenance. That's the
Love that.
goal. A lot of numbers sit a little closer to the 200 these days
Yep.
for the current market. Whenever you watch this video, that's more the current market.
Yeah.
And hopefully the
And
interest
it's
rates come
just
back
as
down.
interest rates come down, yeah, you'll be
Yeah.
you'll be in the gold then. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And just to give you an idea, like I said, if I buy properties under 10,000, if it's cash flowing, that 350, I can easily hit my goal of
Yeah.
that 20,000 a month. It is a realistic goal in the right time
Oh
frame.
yeah.
come up with something realistic and just surprise yourself when it's better.
I love it, man. Well, again, congrats on all the success. We've just been there to support you. It's been all your hard work and effort that you put in, and obviously the support of Nicole and taking the time just to blaze this new path for yourself. And we're super stoked for you and can't wait to help you and support you in buying the next 20. So let's get
Yeah.
after it, man. Well, Chris, again, appreciate the time today, but that's all I got for you. Thank you for hopping on. I know you're a busy guy, so I will let you get back to work. Again, thanks for the time. Congrats on all the success. And if there's anything we can continue to support you with, man, please keep those one-on-one coaching calls coming. All right.
Will do. Talk to you
All
later.
right, brother. Take
Thanks.
it easy,
Bye.
guys. See ya.